Hello there, everyone, and welcome to Radiant Moon Tarot. My name is Victoria. We've got your daily reading for Thursday, May the 21st. Let's have a look and see what's coming in for you guys today. Astrologically, the moon is in Leo all day, so you might feel a little bit more creative. Maybe you're feeling like you want to have a little bit more fun. Leo does tend to tap into our inner child. But Leo is also about facing your fears, being courageous, being bold and brave, right? But is also showing your opportunity or your willingness to also tap into your more compassionate side, right? So the power of discernment is yours for today here, guys. So tap into that wisely. We've got a couple of squares happening today. One of them happening in the middle of the night, and that's between the moon in Leo and Mars in Taurus. So there could be potentially some restless energy there. Of course, that energy will probably pass most of you by. It's like 2 o'clock in the morning if you're over on the eastern coast of North America. If you're on the Pacific coast, it's like just before 11 o'clock the night before. So you may catch a little bit of that energy. Squares, of course, can show us what we need to change in order to move past something, but they can bring frustration and things. So a little word of caution there. We do have another square today, right at the very end of our day. So again, for those of you on the East Coast, you might sleep right on through it. But on the Pacific Coast, it's 11:30 p.m. And this is between Venus in Cancer and Neptune in Aries. So there could be something kind of interesting going on there on the home front. Maybe you're kind of a little frustrated about something that you've been daydreaming about. Maybe there's things preventing you from getting done what you're getting done. But again, for some of you, you might just kind of sleep this on by. We do also have, what do we have? We've got an opposition here. This one could cause us a little bit of grief. First thing in the morning, we do have an opposition with the moon in Leo and Pluto in Aquarius. So it could be a very me versus them kind of energy, right? Leo is very much about the self, right? The individual, you, right? It's ruled by the sun, right? And then you've got the Pluto in Aquarius, which right now can be about other people, right? So you could have a little bit of a power struggle going on there. And then we've got some other aspects in the day, but they're a little bit cooler and calmer than that. So, work on putting up boundaries. Perhaps you need to have a discussion with somebody. It's a great day for individual projects with the moon in Leo, right? Work on what the things that you want, your goals, your dreams, but other people may try and get in the way, and that's where those boundaries come up. Let's see what's in the cards for you. We've got the King of Swords. Clear and decisive. All right, the King of Swords is very much goal-oriented, very intellectual energy, master communicator in all ways, and has clarity, a sense of purpose, and very determined energy. It's like, nope, this is what I want. This is what we're doing. And so, the King of Swords can be really good with communication, with negotiation, with working things out. But being a king can also be about authority, right? So this can be you. Oh, I'm sorry, there's a garbage truck down the road. But the King of Swords can be, the king energy is about authority, about leadership, about taking charge, right? And this is the way, this is what I've decided, this is what I'm gonna do. And so this can be the energy you need to embrace today, right? This individualistic approach to people and things. And it's not to be like, it's not to be like rude or, disconnected from people, but sometimes we've got things that we need to get done, and there's things that we need to accomplish. And, so establishing or reestablishing and enforcing boundaries, is probably the way to go for some of you today, right? Is the focus on your stuff. And, especially in your workplace, right? If you work with a lot of people, do you get peppered with questions all day, right? And maybe some days you're like, my goodness, can anyone think for themselves these days? I am not everyone's intellectual pincushion. And so, you might be really kind of standing in your authority today with the King of Swords. But you could also be having a really interesting conversation with somebody today, someone at work, someone at home, someone that you maybe bump into, because the King of Swords can be very much an intellectual and communicative genius, right? Also a person that is good with legal matters, good with seeing things clearly, good with negotiation and mediation, is anything that requires verbal communication or mental stimulation. So that can be a person that makes a key aspect in your life, or with the Knight of Swords, they might bring you some information, news, or messages. With both of these being in the upright, it could be good news. So if you've been waiting for some legal advice, or if you have a legal matter that's been playing out, perhaps there's a negotiation that's going on somewhere, or just this communication that needs to happen, right? There's the Knight of Swords typically does bring in messages and communication of some kind, and it's usually a quick delivery system here, so probably something with technology, perhaps email, text message. It could potentially be something that comes in the mail, but it's more likely a little faster of a delivery than that for you, unless you get the verbal information first, followed up with a letter in the mail. But the Knight of Swords is quite often requiring some quick decision, quick action, or something that we receive really quite quickly. So a lot of rapid fire communication may be going on for you today, and you might be in a situation where you either need to respond in a timely manner, or you might need to make a decision in a timely manner. The clock is ticking. Okay, so it doesn't mean that you can't sleep on something if you need to, or get legal consultation if you need to for something. But time is kind of the essence when we get the Knight of Swords. And we also have the Emperor. Okay, talk about leadership energy today and decisive energy. So, with the Emperor here, this is Aries energy. And of course, this is about taking charge, being in the lead, knowing what your strategy, what your plan is, and then a clean, crisp execution of that. You may need to be a little bit flexible, because the Emperor, yes, is a master strategist energy, but the key to success sometimes is kind of adjusting your strategy a little bit. So we assess, is my strategy working? No? Okay, I'm going to just make a few little tweaks here and there. Because even though the Emperor energy can be authoritative, can be, very decisive, can be like, I'm the boss, okay, I'm the leader, he's also wise, right? And, unlike some things that we see going on in the world, it's like, I'm going to stick to my strategy no matter what happens. And, that doesn't always work out so well. So the Emperor is wise enough to know that sometimes we need to divert. Sometimes we need to, based on information or new information that we have, we might need to kind of change our strategy up just a little bit to make sure we're successful. The Emperor is a very good energy for business or dealing with the boss, or dealing with someone in authority, or perhaps someone as like a father figure in your world may have some advice, some wisdom, some guidance, or some input for you, or you're having some dealings with that kind of person. But no matter what, the Emperor energy can be your energy, really great up in your authority, being very strategic and being very decisive. But this can also be a person. So we got a lot of masculine energy coming out here today. We've got masculine. And so this comes with a word of caution, okay? Masculine energy is great, right? Because it's a doing energy. It's I act, right? I am, I act, I do, right? We're getting things in motion. But just like too much testosterone in the room, it can quickly go a little bit sideways because we end up in a battle, right? And so just be a little bit aware of that today, that there may need to be some feminine energy somewhere just to kind of, balance things out a little bit. But this can be a great day, again, for getting things done. It's just that they may be things that are important to you and that may not necessarily involve other people. Right? As far as the goal goes, it's like, this is my project, this is my goal, this is my deadline, right? And I have to meet these things. I've got to get these things done. You want my help from somewhere? Great. It's going to wait till tomorrow. And, we have a Queen of Swords. Excellent. There's our feminine energy that we were looking for. So really interesting that we do have all of this swords energy, all of this air energy. Okay. Not all surprising, because we did just have Mercury move into Gemini, air, and we've got Uranus in Gemini, again, air energy. So there could be a lot of insightful conversations. There could be, your intuition may be just whoosh, way on point there. But the Queen of Swords, right? This feminine energy, but the Queen is, you don't want to mess with the Queen, right? The Queen put it this way, behind every great king is probably the Queen that is really pulling the strings and making the important decisions. And the Queen of Swords can be very cutthroat kind of energy, right? So there could be a couple of people working together here. It can just be that you are, getting alignment between being that leadership, that out there king energy, but also knowing that behind the scenes, the decisions that you make are what's really driving something forward. The Queen of Swords, awesome energy for boundaries and for cutting things off that aren't working, right? It's like, this isn't working. We've got to cut this off right now. We've got to re-strategize. And so that can be a great energy for that. So of course, this can all be your energy, but it is also very people-y today. So, we got 3 dudes and a woman. So, you might be the Queen of Swords up there dealing with a bunch of dominant male figures, or the ones with the masculine energy, or perhaps there is a feminine touch that walks into the room just to kind of settle down some masculinity there. But very interesting today. So certainly a lot of people may be at your doorstep today. All right, let's get your final messages. And we're pulling out blessings for you guys today. There's your first card. Your blessed power. Well, there you go. There's your masculine energy coming out. You are a field of endless possibility with unlimited power to create. Every atom of you is full of abstract potential that can be molded into any form. Every particle of you holds the blueprint of creation. You are a force of nature and a great blessing on this earth. Namaste. And here is your next blessing. The blessing of faith. The universe is testing you. Will you be faithful and true to yourself? Be courageous, for you are supported by a divine ocean of love. You are gifted at this time with the blessing of a strong faith that will see you through the present challenges. Namaste. Those are your messages for today, guys. I hope you have an absolutely wonderful day. Like, share, and subscribe if you enjoyed your reading. And I'll see you guys tomorrow. Bye.